You are the right size. You are the right looks. You are the right personality. You come from the right family. You are not lacking. You didn't get shortchanged. You are good enough. You are talented enough. You are smart enough. You are attractive enough. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. You are more beautiful than you can see. You have no idea how beautiful you are. It's true. God made you beautiful. You are beautiful. You are attractive. You are one of a kind. You have been crowned with favor. You are a prize. Have an image of victory. You are not weak, defeated, overcome by problems. You are a warrior. You have been armed with strength for every battle. You are full of can-do power. The forces that are for you are greater than forces that are against you. You are stronger than you know. Stronger than you know. You are who you are for a reason. You are part of an intricate plan. You are a precious and perfect unique design called God's special woman or man. You look like you look for a reason. God made no mistake. He knit you together within the womb. You are just what He wanted to make. Parents you had were the ones He chose. And no matter how you may feel, they were custom designed with God's plan in mind. And they bear the Master's seed. I know that trauma you faced was not easy, and God wept that it hurt you so. But it was allowed to shape your heart so that into His likeness you would grow. You are who you are for a reason. You have been formed by the Master's rod. You are who you are, beloved, because there is a God. Why not be yourself? Everyone else is taken. The world needs you just as you are. Because if you were meant to be someone else, you wouldn't be here. Don't try to copy others or let society decide what's beautiful. Remember what God said. You are beautiful. Have you ever read Psalm 139 verse 13 and 14? It says, you were made perfect in your mother's womb. Next time you look in the mirror, remind yourself that you are made perfectly because that's what God believes. Don't let TV or magazine make you feel less. God looks at you and sees someone beautiful. Next time you catch your reflection, pause and reflect on these words. Let them be a balm to the wounds inflicted by unattainable societal standards. You are not a flawed copy of someone else's ideal. You are a masterful creation, fearfully and wonderfully made. In a world driven by social media and constant connection, it's hard to avoid the impact of comparison in our lives. We find ourselves constantly comparing our achievements, appearances, and lifestyle to those of others. And it's taking a toll on our mental well-being. But what exactly is the impact of comparison, and how can we overcome its negative effects? The world we live in, it constantly encourages us to compare ourselves to others. We often lose sight of our true worth and purpose. But when we invite God's presence in our life, a transformative journey begins. The Bible provides timeless wisdom on the power of God's presence and how it can transform our perspective on comparison. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalm chapter 139, verse 14. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled amidst rolling hills, lived two brothers named Samuel and Joseph. They were hard-working farmers who tended their lands with great care and dedication. However, Samuel always found himself trapped in the comparison game, constantly comparing his achievements to those of his brother Joseph. Samuel was blessed with a beautiful harvest every year, but he could never appreciate it fully because he was too busy comparing his yield to Joseph's. Joseph's field seemed to produce more abundant crops, and his livestock flourished, causing envy to consume Samuel's heart. One day, the brothers decided to make a pilgrimage to the nearby city to offer their thanksgiving to God. They brought the best of their harvest as an offering, seeking God's favor and blessing. As they approached the grand temple, Samuel couldn't help but notice the extravagant offerings of the wealthy merchants. He began to feel inadequate, comparing his humble offering to theirs. Inside the temple, they stood in line, waiting for their turn to present their gifts. Samuel's heart was heavy with self-doubt and envy, overshadowing the joy of being in God's presence. Suddenly, a divine voice echoed through the hall, capturing the attention of everyone present. My children, do not be deceived by the appearances or measure your worth by the offerings you bring. I do not look at the size of your gifts, but at the sincerity of your hearts. As the voice of God resounded, a beam of light illuminated Samuel and Joseph, enveloping them in a warm embrace. In that moment, Samuel felt a deep sense of peace and realized the folly of his comparisons. He understood that God's presence transcended material possessions and earthly achievements. From that day forward, Samuel learned to appreciate the unique blessing bestowed upon him. He recognized that God had given him a fertile land, a loving family, and a generous heart. Samuel no longer felt the need to compare himself to his brother or anyone else. He focused on his relationship with God, seeking His guidance and walking in His ways. As time passed, Samuel's contentment and gratitude radiated from him. He shared his wisdom and encouraged others in the village to embrace their own blessings rather than falling into the comparison trap. His transformation inspired those around him to value God's presence above worldly standards. The story of Samuel and Joseph reminds us that God's presence is the ultimate source of fulfillment and joy. The urge to compare ourselves is deeply rooted in our evolutionary past. As social beings, we have a natural tendency to evaluate ourselves in relation to others. However, in today's hyper-connected world, this inclination has intensified, leading to a range of psychological effects. Comparison serves several functions in our lives. Firstly, it helps us evaluate our abilities, achievements, and social standings. It can be a source of motivation and inspiration. However, when taken to extremes, comparison can lead to feeling of inferiority, jealousy, and self-doubt. Several factors influence the psychological effects of comparison. Firstly, social media plays a significant role. It presents a curated version of people's life, leading to an unrealistic comparison and feelings of inadequacy. Additionally, our own self-esteem personal goal, and the presence of social support system can affect how we interpret and react to comparisons. When we shift our focus from comparing ourselves to others, instead embrace our unique gifts and blessings, we find freedom and peace. God's love and acceptance are not based upon our worldly achievements, but on our sincere hearts and our willingness to seek His presence above everything else. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we should focus on embracing our own uniqueness and appreciating the qualities that make us who we are. Remember that God has a specific plan and purpose for your life that is different from anyone else's. When we constantly seek validation and approval from others, we can easily become trapped in the cycle of comparison. Instead, shift your focus towards seeking God's approval. Remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in His image, and His opinion of you is what truly matters. Find comfort in knowing that you are loved and accepted by the Creator of the universe. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude that can help combat the comparison trap. Instead of dwelling on what others have or have achieved, focus on the blessings in your own life. Take time to count your blessings and express gratitude to God for His provisions. Contentment comes when we recognize and appreciate what we already have, rather than constantly desiring what other possesses. Instead of feeling envious and threatened by others' success, choose to celebrate with them. Rejoicing in the achievements of others demonstrates a heart of love and support. Remember that everyone's journey is different, and their success do not diminish your worth and potential. Overcoming the comparison trap requires a renewal of mind. Regularly immerse yourself in God's Word, seeking His truth and wisdom. Replace negative and comparison-driven thoughts with positive and affirming one. God's love and guidance are unique to each individual. By embracing your blessings, focusing on your relationship with God, practicing gratitude and contentment, trusting His plan, celebrating others, seeking His perspective, releasing the need of approval, and renewing your mind with His words, you can navigate the comparison trap and live in the fullness of His love and guidance.